Welcome back. I have Andrew Kirsch on, who has over 20 years experience in Canada's security sector. Again, thank you, Andrew, for joining me. Before commercial, we were discussing the alleged Chinese balloon fiasco. You know, we're all looking up in the sky now. Are there spy balloons near me? I actually don't live too far from where the one that was taken down in Canadian airspace, is today a no-fly zone. I don't know. But again, as I mentioned before the break, it seems kind of silly to send a spy balloon. Like, what could one actually learn? And in your experience with CSIS, is this a typical way to surveil foreign governments or foreign entities?
Well, I was an intelligence officer with CSIS, and my number one rule was don't get caught. And close behind, if not ahead, is don't lose your equipment. Don't lose your stuff. So if we're planting tracking devices, listening devices, we don't want that to fall into the hands of the people that we are tracking or listening to. So when I look at this as, well, how provocative and overt to fly something that you have the opportunity to get caught and lose your stuff. So it got me thinking. I have an insight into this, but it sounds like they've been flying a few more, or been flying them for a while, and maybe they thought, okay, well, this has worked to this point, or maybe they have a program where they just launch these things every so often, and no one thought to stop once the first one got taken down. But it's definitely odd that you would give your opposition an opportunity to get it. So either you really have no other way to collect the information this is collecting, or you're weighing the risk and reward and think it's okay if this goes down, or they thought that maybe we never would take it down, and we're just preying on our passivity. So I don't know the answer to that, but it is really interesting to have this said for the first time that I can think about it. I'm sure they're up there. I'm sure there's satellites up there. I'm sure there's all sorts of things, but to do it in a way that you lose your plausible deniability, that was interesting to me.
Now, one way that's a lot more covert, at least I would assume it would be, is cyber attacks. Is cybersecurity, what kind of threats do we see these days with cybersecurity, between, say, rogue hackers versus state-sponsored?
Well, it's extremely pervasive. Look, the government just banned TikTok on all government phones, and that was obviously because they found the risk of that application on government devices too high, right? The challenge with all apps is that when you accept the terms, sometimes they provide access to your contacts or your camera or microphone, and you have to weigh what you get out of it with what you're giving up. And the case of TikTok, it was the fact that not only are you giving up a lot of access to your device, more than most, you're also allowing all the data that's collected to go to a company that will the government of China is able to get access to. So they're not seen as very reliable custodians of that data, that it wouldn't fall into the wrong hands. So look, cybersecurity is a huge challenge. We are vulnerable, and we are accessible through our devices, through everything we put in our homes and the people we're connected to online, for phishing and to be exploited in that way. And that is a real challenge that we are dealing with, and it's only going to get worse, unfortunately. So yeah, why do you have to put things in the air when you can just hack into people's homes and they won't know that you were there? And the cover of my book, I was never here. Much more covert ways to do that, certainly through cyber means.
I was surprised though that the Canadian government even allowed TikTok. Like, right from the beginning, I would have said no. I don't have TikTok. I was encouraged by people to get it. I said, no, absolutely not. I don't want to have some Chinese entity have access to my phone. I mean, maybe they already do, hopefully not, but I refuse to put that on my phone. I don't even engage in that. Mm-hmm. Why was CSIS so slow, or why was the government so slow to respond here?
Well, I think it might have been a case where they thought, okay, we're not going to tell people no, we're going to assume that they don't, and not be explicit about it. But yeah, why does anyone need to have TikTok on a government phone? I don't know what that would serve. Even, corporate phones too. I think every company should look at what their policies are and say, what are we allowing on our devices? And is that a requirement of the job or the role? And what is that in relation to the risk that has? I know that obviously when I worked at CSIS, I couldn't access a lot of things from my computer, and even other people might not have access to Facebook or other websites on their computer. It's totally reasonable and appropriate to limit access to our work and government devices. So yeah, I think sometimes we're slow to put out policies, but certainly I don't know why anyone would need to have the device. Now, if you want to use it personally in your spare time and have fun, and I don't recommend it, but that's different than mandating it on work or government devices.
Okay, we're going to pick this up in just a few moments.